Scott Spears here, Scott Spears Now, and we are embarking on a whole new journey here at WGH Talk, and we're embarking on that with a man who I've had an association with for nearly 20 years now. We are going to bring you the best in programming each and every week here, video-wise on WGH Talk. We're going to have guests, we're going to have fun, we're going to play games, we're going to do things on the holidays, on special days like Groundhog Day, and it's all going to be here on WGH Talk with my pal, the super fan himself, as far as I'm concerned. He's the most famous super fan in the history of the country because he represents the best team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes. My pal, Buckeye Guy, certainly now a co-host here on WGH Talk.
Happy to be here, man. WGH Talk, don't get no better than our friend Scott Spears.
Buckeye Guy, you might just run for mayor. You might just join the whole situation here. In
the whole thing, man. I'm telling you, mayors would be good, but I'm telling you, host and co-host right here on WGH. Scott, man, this is big.
Now, Buckeye Guy, now, honestly, a lot of people have taken their fame, and certainly you have that. Have you ever thought about politics?
Listen, probably as far as I could run from politics, I'm running as we speak now. No way, man.
It's rough, isn't it?
It's real rough. It's gotten real bad out there, man, here in the last 10 years.
Do you have a favorite statewide politician?
Absolutely. What was the guy that ran for president back in the 70s from Minnesota? Mr. McGovern.
George McGovern.
Remember McGovern?
Now, why George McGovern? Now,
McGovern was so dry, but he was on point. I'm telling you. Now, just to let you know, I like, on both sides of the aisle, Ross Perot taught me everything.
He just recently passed away.
He did. Let me tell you about Ross Perot. Ross Perot had a pie chart, and he had a stick. He pointed at the pie chart, and he says, and he talked like this, whatever. I'm paying my own money. I'm a billionaire. I got all money like you wouldn't believe. And I'm going to tell you what we need. We need 15% here, 30% here, and 40% here. And you know what? I realized that he was telling the truth. Oh!
That was the best impression I've seen in a long time.
I'm telling Ross Perot. Oh. That was Ross Perot.
Now, you think you know the Buckeye Guy, don't you? You think you do, but we're going to figure it out today because we're going to do something that's never been done.
Oh.
Now, there are a few things in life that have never been done, but I do this with a lot of people, and it's always a lot of fun.
I like it.
This is called the Proust Questionnaire. Now, have you ever gotten Vanity Fair magazine? For anybody who's gotten Vanity Fair magazine, this is always printed in the back, and it's supposed to say something about your personality. Now, there are 35 questions.
My goodness.
Now, we're going to run through these questions, and Buckeye Guy is going to answer them, and then you can analyze at home however you would like here. But we're going to get to know the Buckeye Guy.
Let's go.
Through the Proust Questionnaire. Question number 1. And I am a teacher, by the way, so I'm certified to administer this questionnaire.
Yes, sure.
Certified. Number 1. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Having fun.
Number 2. What is your greatest fear?
Height.
Really?
Absolutely.
How bad?
I don't even want to get on top of this table.
The knees would start buckling.
Oh, boy.
Now, when you're up have to walk up in the stadium, up. How's that? How do you do that?
I'll tell you what. Good news is we sit in the front row every time. The last time I was in CDAC, I know what you're talking about, Scott. It was quite unnerving, and so no, we don't do CDAC.
You know, Buckeye Guy, somebody asked me this, and I want to clear the air once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
They said, does the university pay Buckeye Guy to do this?
Absolutely not. I pay for my own tickets. I pay my own dime. And I certainly fly, drive, walk to the games on my own dime.
There you go. That clears it all. I get that question all the time, and I say, no. No, he's not paid by the university.
Nope.
How did it all start? We'll get back to the questionnaire here, but we're just freewheeling today.
It all started back in the 70s. And I'll tell you what happens.
Do we know the year?
Ooh, I can tell you this. I seen Woody Hayes coach his last game.
Oh, you saw him punch the player?
I did not.
Oh.
At Ohio Stadium.
At Ohio. I gotta wait for you to give me a high sign when you.
Here's the good news. Here's the good news. That would have been the Ohio State team up north, 78 game. We came out on the short end of that one, 14-3. But that was the last time Coach Hayes coached in the shoe. I was there.
Did you ever meet Woody Hayes?
I seen him from afar. I'm telling you, He brought equipment to our little league place and dropped it off in this El Camino. And it was stacked up high as the mountains. He had all kind of stuff. So here it is. How did it all get started? It all started at the spring game. So the spring game, oh my God, years ago it was free. If it was free now, you'd have to call up the extra guard. So at the spring game years and years ago, we had different type of uniforms. We haven't always been with Nike. We started out with Champion, left Champion, and went to Puma. We left Puma and have been with Nike ever since. So what they had, the university had, was what you call a yard sale.
Oh.
They had torn old jerseys and all kind of stuff like that. And for little or nothing. Oh my God, we had the leather going down the middle of the helmets. That was $4 or $5 back in the 70s or so. If you were to have that helmet now, it'd probably be $2,000 or $3,000. So that's what happened. So you could come in, you get there early enough, first come, first serve, I'd run down to the front row. So running down to the front row now is a little more expensive, but it's still running down to the front row.
Now, how did the get-up, the costume, put together?
Listen, I'm telling you, you add a little bit every time. The first time I wore the hat, I donned the hat, it was in the University of Indiana. So you always try something on at the away games because they eat you alive down there at the shoe, man. So Clay Hall was interviewing me. And Clay Hall, always, Channel 6, he always says, I'll throw a microphone in your mouth and a camera in your face every time, Buckeye Guy, because you always know how to get the camera back to him. And I'll tell you what, came in his ear, he says, tell Buckeye Guy never take that cowboy hat off because it works for him. And I have not.
Now, the name, Buckiguy. Where'd that come from?
Here we go, all over again. Dave Metzel, Channel 4. So I'm pretty good with the media. Here I am, Scott Spears, WGH. I'm telling you, kind of cool. Got that from Madonna.
Oh.
So, we're 35,000 miles in the air. It's a Thursday. We're playing Wisconsin. Dave Metzel says, God dog it, Buckeye Guy, we need to call you Buckeye Guy. And sure enough, it stuck. Everything's happening.
Oh, I've never asked you this. Being a sports gentleman,
Yep.
Did you ever have any run-ins with Jimmy Crum?
Oh my God, let me tell you something, man. Jimmy Crum was the dean of sportscasters. He was on Channel 4. He done everything. He had the best jackets you ever seen in the world. And I'll tell you, he represented Channel 4 well for several years. Good guy.
He was an interesting fellow. I had a couple run-ins with him in my life, and they were interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, but a nice man.
Absolutely.
A friendly fellow.
Yes, sir.
All right, back to the questionnaire here,
Yep.
the Proust questionnaire. The cameraman knows about Jimmy Crum. He was on some of those excursions.
Sure.
We spent a week one night with Jimmy Crum in Marion.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was a night. Okay. Oh,
How many jackets did he have?
he had two. It looked like lifesavers. He had a lifesaver jacket on. Yeah, it looked like he worked for Lifesaver. I believe he had stock in Lifesaver. I'll tell you, and this is a little behind the scenes. This is what people like. This is what they're going to get on our show. Jimmy Crum was the slowest eater I've ever seen in my life. We had to get over to the theater because we were honoring him, and we had a big dinner in his honor, and everybody left, and I was sitting there. I had to get over to the theater because I was hosting the show, and this man is just.
No.
Now here, this is a great. You probably have a Jimmy Crum story, do you not?
Sure I do.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you one here. Now this is a little known. This may be let out for the first time on this show. Okay, after the show, Jimmy was obviously hungry again because he only got half the food in his mouth before the show because he was a slow eater. So he wanted at 11 o'clock at night. He wanted eggs and bacon or something.
Sure.
He wanted breakfast food. Well, of course, every place is closed except Denny's. He didn't want to go to Denny's. So I took him to Applebee's and I went in and I said, listen, we got Jimmy Crum out in the car. Could you cook him some eggs and bacon? We'll do it. Okay. So Sean Kraft, our cameraman, and I are sitting at a table eating with Jimmy Crum. He's eating his eggs and bacon. He's talking up a storm, talking about Bobby Knight and all his...
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, the waiter comes over and slips Jimmy a piece of paper.
No.
Oh, yes, he did. Slipped Jimmy a piece of paper.
What?
And Jimmy stops talking for the first time in about 7 hours that night. He finally shut up, and he looks down at this piece of paper, and he opens it up very meticulously, looks down, he looks over at the bar, and there's a girl over there.
What?
And she's doing one of these numbers.
No.
Like that. And he looks back down at the piece of paper. He looks back over at her. And we're looking, and he does one of these. She's doing this. And then he folds up the paper. And he put it over here. And he started talking more about Bobby Knight. He never said what it was. I wish my misery in life is that I did not go back and pick that note up.
Wow.
Now, is that not a story?
That's one heck of a story about Jimmy Crum, the dean of sportscasting in Central Ohio.
Yes. Now, what is your Jimmy Crum inside story?
Listen, Jimmy Crum would be, and he'd cover.
Did you ever eat with him?
No.
You'd still be there if you did. You wouldn't be here tonight. You'd still be there.
God rest his soul, Jimmy.
God rest your soul, Jimmy.
Jimmy Crum.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, he championed his charities like I do. So I got a little piece of Jimmy Crum in me, because he championed, his charities. He always went out for the kids, and that made it easy for me to go out for the kids as well. Already having seen Jimmy do so good with it.
I'll tell you a story off the air about Jimmy Crum.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't tell the other one off the air, but I'll tell you off the air.
No.
Let's get back to the Proust questionnaire. But Jimmy, there you go. For all those people who love Jimmy Crum.
Yep.
Hashtag Jimmy Crum. All right. What is the trait you deplore most in yourself?
Caring.
You deplore that.
Wait a minute. Tell me deplore.
You dislike in yourself.
Oh, see, dislike and deplore certainly doesn't sound alike.
No, this is in English.
It doesn't sound alike.
No. You might have misheard me.
Okay. Question, run it back by me again.
Let's run. Okay, here we go.
And make it to where it'll be easy.
What is the trait you dislike most in yourself?
You know what that's going to be? I think I like them all. And I'll tell you why. All because it takes, to make a pound cake, it takes raw eggs. To make a pound cake, it takes sugar. To make a pound cake, it makes flour. To make a pound cake, you have to preset the oven at 350 degrees. Mix it all up and put it in, and then it'll come out a pound cake. So for me not to like the sugar, the raw eggs, and the flour, it wouldn't be a good pound cake.
If you gave Jimmy Crum a pound cake, you better take 2 weeks off work.
Yes.
Because you're going to be there. All right, what trait do you dislike in others?
I'll tell you what. I accept everybody unconditionally, regardless to however they are.
Now this will be good. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Which living person do you most admire?
Oh man,
Me.
Look, Scott Spears is up there, top 10.
Yeah,
no, he's top 10.
Top 10.
I can tell you right
Am I
now.
above Jimmy Crum? Well, he's no longer with us.
Well, he's not with us anymore. But I'm telling you, we admire people that go out and help other people.
Is there a person?
Person, thing, zoo animal. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Okay. What is your greatest extravagance?
Oh, going to the Ohio State football games.
Yeah, I imagine so.
It hadn't been 10 days. I just left Atlanta, Georgia. That was kind of cool.
We're going to go back to that because that was quite a game.
Yes.
What is your current state of mind?
Fun.
What do you consider to be the most overrated virtue?
Money.
Well, there you go. Oh, this is good. On what occasion do you lie?
Very seldom and only if necessary.
But like if you say, do I look good? You wouldn't tell somebody you look bad.
I'll tell you. Ever, never that.
No. This is tailor-made for you, Buckeye Guy. What do you most dislike about your appearance?
Man, I'll tell you, kind of like my appearance. I'm cool with it. And I'll tell you what, my father always used to say, play the hand that's dealt you. And I like my hand, and I'm cool, and I'll play this hand.
Which living person do you most dislike?
Wow.
The head coach at Michigan.
Listen,
Wow.
Jim Harbaugh has came along and made a name for himself in the last 24 months because we had been beating that state up north like a drum. And all of a sudden, they beat us last year, which I thought was an accident. Well, it wasn't no accident this year. They beat us pretty bad. So, Coach Jim Harbaugh, he's number one.
Now, get ready at home. Brace yourself.
Uh-oh.
Which word or phrase do you most overuse?
Oh, absolutely astonishing, amazing. It's outrageous. It's good.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I love it. Oh, this is good. What, now remember what's a part of this. What or who is the greatest love of your life?
Man, it's got to be my wife, man. I'll tell you, no question, no hesitation.
Mrs. Buckeye Guy.
That's it. Mrs. Guy,
When and where were you happiest?
right here, this moment.
Oh, that's good.
Right here, this moment.
Which talent would you most like to have?
I've got all the talents that I need. I just have to utilize them in the proper way.
If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Nothing. I'm rolling with this hand.
What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Giving back.
If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what would it be?
Invisible. No.
This was put together by a psychologist.
That's
by
pretty
the way.
good. Now, let me see. What would you come back as?
Or a person. A person or a thing.
Let's say my dog. I loved my dog. His name was, well, I had to, Brutus and Buckeye, and my dogs. I love them. I'd love to come back as it.
Where would you most like to live?
Easy. Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yes, in the islands, Caribbean islands. I went there once, and gosh, Lee, it's a whole nother place.
What is your most treasured possession?
My loves, my life, life itself.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, if we were to say like a memento, memorabilia, what would it be?
Oh, I got an old piece of Woody Hayes. I grew up watching Woody Hayes. You know, it was Woody Hayes' last game was in November, end of November, 1978, here in Columbus at the Shoe. I grew up watching the Woody Hayes Show. And Archie Griffin, the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner, Pete Johnson, John Hicks, those guys. That was my era. A piece of Woody Hayes memorabilia. That's my favorite.
What is it?
It's a handwritten note.
Oh, nice.
It's a handwritten note. I wouldn't part with it for the world.
Beautiful. What is the lowest depth of misery for you?
Well, it just happened about 3 weeks ago.
That was a bad night.
For the second time.
Bad New Year's Eve.
No.
Oh, the Michigan game.
Not the loss to Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Because we lost that one, 41-42. But the blowout here in Columbus, to that school up north. That was a bad day.
What would be your favorite occupation?
Being Buckeye Guy. I kind of like me, man. I'm going to tell you. So you could ask those all day long. It's going to come back the same.
What do you most value in your friends?
Loyalty.
Favorite book?
100 Things Every Buckeye Fan Should Know.
Not Jim Dressel's autobiography?
We love Jimmy.
What was that book called?
Listen,
the Winner's
Manual.
Winner's Manual. Which historical figure do you most identify with?
Man. Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh, good one.
And I'll tell you why. Dr. King was nonviolent, but Dr. King was about bringing people together. I bring people together.
Who are your heroes in real life?
Scott Spears got to be one. He's top 10, I'm telling you guys. Let me tell you about Scott Spears, guys. We don't have to talk about this off the air. I can tell you right now, looking straight into the camera, that guy goes out his way for me, for Buckeye Guy. I know he does. He calls me every darn time. Anything's available. If I'm available, he's available. Scott Spears is real cool with me, and we appreciate it.
Well, you know why that is, and I'll tell you something, because we've always had a good relationship.
Yes.
Into which, and whenever there's been a sticky situation or a loss or whatever,
I call you.
You call and we just.
I call you immediately.
There's fairness. There's fairness.
I call
and there's
you
transparency.
immediately.
And I appreciate the transparency, and that's what you gotta like.
I call you immediately.
You know, I was trying to think the other day. We have been. We've been at the Little Brown Jug together.
Oh man, that was huge. That was huge.
We've done television. We've done radio.
Yes.
The famous Gallagher incident. He just passed, left us, went on to his reward.
Certainly sorry about that.
That was something. We did that together. We've been with Ted Williams.
Man.
We've been at Tony Packo's getting
wow. I
buns
signed the bun.
and the pizza dough.
Dude, I'm in the upper crust. Come on.
Upper crust with Mary Ellen Withrow.
Upper crust.
Christmas party. You've been to our Christmas
Yes.
party. I mean, we've really been around the block.
Let me tell you something. It doesn't have to run in your veins to be family.
No, we're family.
Family.
Family, and we have a wonderful relationship.
Family.
You know,
Period.
and at Christmas, you really realize that when we were all out there that day, the staff here and Mary Ellen and yourself, you know, it felt like you were with your aunt and your uncle and your brother and your sister. It was just fun.
Jingle bells,
Oh,
jingle
wonderful.
bells.
We all sang that night.
Oh, what fun
Oh, it was beautiful. That'll be coming out on video soon, by the way.
Can't wait.
What are your favorite names?
Man. John. Because it's the most popular name in the world, looks like to me.
That's
And
right.
I just have, hey, there's a baby just popped out. What are we going to name him? Name him John.
John Ritter?
John Chubb.
John
Dean.
John Chancellor?
John Kennedy.
Well, we go all day with
John
that.
Ward, yeah.
John Wayne.
Look here. Hey, that's the original man. That guy was something, wasn't he? And I do remember John Ritter. I'm telling you. God rest his soul as well.
What is your greatest regret?
Wow.
This is a good one.
I got it. There was a national radio show, and they asked me to come on and do some sports or something, and I turned it down.
Really?
Yep.
Now, why did you turn it down?
Fear.
Really?
Fear.
Of what?
Success. Too
So
big.
They want you to do sports.
Too big.
Have you ever thought about being a sportsman?
It was too big,
Like
Scott.
if I gave you a paper and I
It was
said, read
too
the scores.
big.
Could you
This
read
guy
the
had a
scores?
national show.
Oh, my
He says,
God.
Buckeye God, come on and talk. No! I was,
Fear.
listen, overtaken with fear.
My word.
I've never told anybody this before.
That's why we're here.
Fear.
Fear. Well, that's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is an interesting. Only a psychologist. By the way, this is the Proust questionnaire. If you're just tuning in,
Mm-hmm.
how would you like to die? That's
Peacefully.
a Barbara Walters question.
No,
Have you ever heard
peacefully.
one?
Peacefully.
In your sleep. You know what always worries me about that, though?
Yep.
I'm not sure that anybody does go peacefully in their sleep.
You can't pull.
I think
nobody knows.
You wake up and you have a pain, and then that's not good.
I don't know.
Whatever. There's a Woody Allen line that I used to love.
Give it to
me. I don't mind dying. I just don't want to be there when it happens.
Bingo.
That's perfect. Oh, and the final question on the Proust questionnaire.
Yep.
What is your motto?
Be good to people. Share with people. Give people the best you've got. You know, we don't do no half-assing around here. It's all or nothing.
That's why they wouldn't let you on radio.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, it was okay. We don't
Listen. It's all or nothing for me. You know me. It's all or nothing. I'm all in or I ain't in at all. You know, because if I'm gonna go with you, I'm gonna make it happen.
Now we got to get to it. The end of the 2022 Ohio State Buckeye season. Undefeated team. Columbus, Ohio. Home team advantage. Here comes Michigan. They had lost the year before, but we blamed it. We were up in Michigan.
Snow.
They caught us by surprise.
Yes,
Snow.
all that.
Well, they're coming to us. We're big and we're bad and we're undefeated.
It's 55 degrees,
55
no wind.
degrees. Beautiful day in November, pre-Thanksgiving. And what happened?
They had our number from the onset.
Take us through that game.
We were winning that game 20-17 at halftime. We were winning. We were running up and down the field. Da-da-da-da-da. That school up north had 10 yards rushing at halftime. At the end of the game, they had 455. I don't know if it was that much, but it was a bunch. They started running the ball. They ran it down our throats, and we could not stop them. That's what happened. Then they hit a couple of long passes. Their quarterback, man, I'm telling you. They outplayed us. They outplayed us. We lost.
Tell me about the end of that game on the big pass. Yeah.
The big runs. The big runs.
Well, excuse me,
Number
big
7.
run, not the pass.
Same guy, same play, 75 yards the first time. Gone. Nobody, look, he was running like Secretariat over at the Little Brown Jug. I'm telling you, it was bad. Or Won the West. That's right. The name of the horse was Won the West. He shot him out of the cannon. 75 yards. Are you kidding me? Come on. We're already down 14 points or so. We're down by 21 now. Then the next possession, which we went 3 and out, by the way. Same guy, same play, 85 yards. Are you kidding me? Now, of course, I couldn't have caught him. But if, in fact, I could have been out there, at least I would have given him a fighting chance. It was just bad all over, man. It was a bad day. We came up on the short end of the stick.
And for historic purposes, you told me on the air that for the first time in your history of going in more than 40 years, you saw something happen at the shoe that day. When that happened, that run.
I've seen the Ohio State Stadium clear out, foul out, as if we were up 75 points on Kent State. Folks were leaving, heading for the hills.
Before the game was over.
Before the game was over.
And they lost.
And we lost.
Terrible.
And the loss was inevitable, and it was right in front of our face. So I've never seen our fans get up and leave like that, and they did.
Now, for historic purposes,
Give it up.
With every bit of sadness, there's a bit of happiness.
Yes.
You were in a moment of inconsolability, and a famous picture was taken.
It was unbelievable. After the first time the guy takes out and runs down the field 75 yards. And I hang my head in just total disbelief. Up comes Brutus. Brutus comes over to console Buckeye Guy. And of course it was caught on national TV. And it was trending all day. Buckeye Guy needed a hug just like every other Ohio State fan that day. And it was true that day. So, craziest thing you ever want to see.
So he just grabbed a hold of you.
He did, man. He's the old Buckeye Guy. And so mascots aren't supposed to talk. And Brutus didn't. But he signed language to me. That's right.
Is that what he did? He gave you some?
He's like, dude.
One of these numbers.
He's like, dude,
Well,
it's going to be all right, Buckeye Guy.
Now, see, you think that's more tragic than what happened next. But in my opinion, just my opinion, what happened next was more tragic.
Okay.
Because we had lost that. Well, you can shake your head no over it. Hello.
Let's see.
I thought he was shaking his head no over there.
Let me see.
Well, we get opinions from the audience here. Now, this is more tragic. I'm telling you right now. This is more tragic because here's what happened. We had already lost to Michigan.
Yes.
2 times in a row.
Yep.
We lost at home. People had walked out. Now we're going to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, my God.
And we're playing a tough team.
Mm-hmm.
In many people's opinion, a far tougher team than Michigan.
Yes.
So we go down there, and it's New Year's Eve. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. And we go down there, and we walk in that stadium, and we start showing those Georgians who's boss.
Man.
Who's boss. And then the fourth quarter happens.
Yeah.
And it's depressing. Just as the clock strikes midnight,
Yeah.
it was awful. Buckeye Guy, take us through the whole thing.
Here the whole thing is, man, we come in there, we played.
Now you tell me that's not worse than that Michigan debacle?
No. And I'll
You gotta
tell you
think
why.
about it.
And I'll tell you why. Because the last 20 years of dominance that the Ohio State University showed over that school up north has been nothing but pure pleasure for me. So, to lose twice in a row, I mean, not by close numbers, we got blowed out twice. I thought was heart-wrenching. We played the #1 team in the country, the reigning national champions, the guys that are on top of the hill, that were supposed to blow us out by double digits.
Hold on. We're going, okay, I tell you what.
Yeah.
This is a little teaser. We're going to take a break.
Aha.
Buckeye Guy, we're going to come back. He's going to tell us about his trip to Georgia.
Yes.
He's going to tell us about sightseeing in Georgia.
My goodness.
And of course, that game, as the clock struck midnight, and Ohio State lost by 1 point. See, I think it's worse.
Oh.
What, we got 30 seconds? I think it's worse to lose by 1 point than it is by 1,000.
Oh, we played them good, man.
Buckeye
We
Guy,
played 'em tight.
we're gonna fight it out in the commercial break.
Okay.
And we'll be back with Buckeye Guy's trip to Georgia. Don't you dare flip that dial. What a break that was. We're going to talk about a big event coming to Marion here in the near future. We're going to be talking about that in the weeks to come. Scott Spears, Buckeye Guy here. and we now are talking about that New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve 2022. Buckeye guy jumped in the Buckeye Mobile and headed down to Hotlanta, Georgia.
Hotlanta.
For the big game. Buckeye guy, tell us about the whole trip. You jump in the car, take it from there.
I'll tell you what. From Chattanooga, Tennessee, all the way in Atlanta, which normally takes an hour and 15 minutes or a half, it was 4 hours worth of traffic. That was that many dedicated fans heading from way up north down south to the ATL. We were all excited about it. We were giving it our best shot. We get there, there's all kind of parties, there's all kind of celebrities there, and the first person I see, Danny Glover of Lethal Weapon. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
There's Danny Glover. Come on. I even got a chance to speak to Dominique Wilkins, which has a statue outside of the State Farm Stadium. So it was cool out there. There were, great Ohio State players. So then comes the game. We get into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is outstanding. Only to Jerry's World, I think, that's even better. We get there, we're playing the number 1 team in the country, the Bulldogs of Georgia. Of course, they're right down the street in Athens, about 45 minutes. So they're all over the place. They're crawling with them. But you can't tell who's who because our same colors look the same on TV from what I understand. But you could tell when those Buckeyes scored. We start reeling off points like you wouldn't believe. It was good. We were winning. We were up. And then the fourth quarter started. My son explained it to me like this. Dad, Georgia has turned back into Georgia. And they let it come back like you'd never seen before. And they stretched it out. And it came down to one play.
The kick.
It was the kick heard around the world. Yes, it was a 50-yard kick. It was just a bit outside. To
Bob
the left.
Uecker.
Bob Uecker. And I understand Buffalo Bills.
Oh, absolutely.
Buffalo Bills they went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Now you're there.
I'm there.
You're there. And it's all on this kick. You're 1 point down.
Hold on, Scott.
What are you doing? You're doing that.
No, hold on. They're kicking my way. I'm right behind the goalpost. I'm looking straight at it. It's coming this way.
Coming your way.
Coming my way.
Coming your
I'm
way.
already holding my hands up.
Now wait, let's verify. It's coming your way.
It's coming my way.
The football on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
At midnight. At
That's
the stroke of midnight in Atlanta, Georgia. It's coming your way.
It's coming my way.
It's coming.
Here
right through the goalpost. Well, game would have been won. There'd have been celebratories. There'd have been cheese and bacon and all kinds of stuff and balloons. But what happened?
The snap's good. The hold is good. The guy kicks the ball. And I go, oh, yeah. No.
Oh. What did you see?
It was off to the left.
Off to the left.
It was.
Was there a wind in the building?
No wind in the building.
No wind in the building.
But I'll tell you.
So we just had
that was a great season that we had.
Hit a bowler's foot?
It was unbelievable. I believe The Ohio State University played their best game of the season that night against the number 1 team in the world.
Right.
And it all proved out when TCU got beat 65-7. We played them just like that. Many people think that the national championship game was the Ohio State game and versus Georgia. Many people, and rather, because look, the ratings were so poor in the second half of the TCU Georgia game, folks turned it off. They were up by 40 points at halftime. It was unprecedented.
What were the ratings on New Year's Eve for that Ohio State?
22 million people watched that game.
Really? They weren't watching Dick Clark?
That goes back.
Dick Clark,
Remember
Ryan
that?
Seacrest rocking New Year's Eve?
I'll tell you what. 17 million people watched that team from up north game. But 22, here we go. Ross Perot with the pie chart. You don't need the whole pie, but we got a large portion of it.
Now, where'd you get those numbers?
Man, I'll tell you. Nielsen.
Yeah, but I just don't know. I'm not saying the game wasn't good because the game was fantastic.
Sure it was.
But we're talking about New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And I know that people love the Dick Clark, Ryan Seacrest, Dick Clark rocking around the Dick Clark.
What's the lady's name that's not there anymore?
Well, Dick Clark ain't there anymore either, but
no.
he's went on to his reward as well.
Ryan Seacrest used to.
Jenny McCarthy.
She was good.
Yes.
But there was another lady.
There's another lady. They fired her?
Yes. Remember
they fired Jenny McCarthy? Kathy Griffin. Oh, no, that's on CNN.
Okay, let me tell you.
Oh, you were at CNN? Now, wait a second here.
Of course I was.
Well, why didn't you run right over to the Anderson Cooper? What do they have that? Rockin' CNN, Rockin' New Year's, Rockin'
so
whatever that thing Anderson Cooper does in CNN.
Listen, man, it was unbelievable. We got down there. We're in Atlanta. Things are going good. I mean, I'm going all around. And yes, I was at the CNN building.
Wow.
It was big. It was huge.
You have a big atrium.
And there's that darn picture you're talking about. It's Buckeye God.
I love that
at the CNN building. That's the one that's going to be my epitaph.
I like that.
That's a great picture.
See, we're going to go down there one day and film in front of that.
Let's do that.
We'll do you and I down in CNN.
It won't take long, and we'll get some guys. We'll get Anderson Cooper to come out and say hello.
See, but I hate to challenge you on these ratings, but
yes.
I know that on New Year's Eve people like to watch that ball drop.
Absolutely.
So how could that many people be watching?
Because they were trying to watch that ball go through the uprights.
Yeah, but it went left.
It went left.
It went left.
But that's okay. I think we played the best game that The Ohio State University has played in 10 years.
But you think
yes.
that's not worse than the Michigan game? On New Year's Eve, you weren't celebrating. You didn't count down. You were depressed, right? That's
it's
not
better
good.
To have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. I loved it.
You loved the game.
We were all into it.
All into that game.
All up there. And then, with an opportunity to win the game at the end.
Lost.
Fell short.
Yeah.
Fell short.
So, but that's not worse than Michigan, is what I'm saying. No, Michigan's worse.
Yes.
See, I don't know. We'll have to agree to disagree on
Listen,
that. Because
Scott,
New Year's Eve.
Scott, here it is.
You know
I'm in the front row. I'm in the front row. It's November 26th. I'm in the open stands.
That's after Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yes.
I think I said
used
before
to be before. No, now it's after.
Yeah, I got that wrong. Put that down for posterity that I was wrong.
No. I'm full. I'm full of a turkey sandwich, turkey and dressing sandwich, because that's always a plus after Thanksgiving. We're there. We're in the front row. The whole thing's there. You know, Fox is there. ESPN is there. Da 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 da.
Wonderful.
In the front row of the South stands. That's where most of the student section is up there. It's going crazy. We're giving it our best. At halftime, things changed. I think we ran out of gas.
Yeah, but so what would you say happened in the Georgia game?
Oh, we gave it our all.
Ran out of gas again?
No, there were some bad, questionable calls too as well. We were playing 15 people. It was 11 on 15. Because if I'm correct or not, they got 4 referees. And I think they were calling some stuff. SEC bias.
Oh.
In the South.
I don't know.
So there's a conspiracy right there. They wanted them to win. They wanted them to win bad.
Well, you know, as they say,
what they say.
It was a game.
It was a game.
And it was a game, and it's over.
Yep.
So the big question, but people are not happy with the head coach, Ryan Day, and it's you know 2 big losses like that in so many a month is not good.
No, he's still 44-5, isn't he? He's stuck on 44.
Right, but you know, John Cooper, he had a good record.
He did.
But he did not beat Michigan, and John Cooper now's parking cars somewhere.
Oh.
I like John Cooper.
John Cooper's a Hall of Fame coach.
He's a wonderful man. He's been on the show several times.
John Cooper's doing good things.
Good man.
John Cooper, I'll tell you what, he was one of the best recruiters that you ever want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
We bring in some talent like you've never seen under John Cooper. And I'll tell you who came in and straightened the whole thing out. Little guy out of Youngstown State, Jim Trussell. Jim Trussell came down here. I just happened to be going to some throwaway basketball game. Out walks our new coach. And he said 300 something odd days, we're going to make you proud of your sons. On that Saturday, the third Saturday in November, we'll make you proud of them on the field and off the field. I'm going crazy. And sure enough, he done it. He done the turnaround. The school up north, that day, until now. Urban Meyer came in. After that, let's not forget Luke Fickell coached the year there as well.
Yeah, he's somewhere else now.
Yes, congratulations to Luke Fickell leading Cincinnati to the college football playoff last year, which was unheard of, and he got rewarded with a 7-year, $74 million contract to be the brand new coach of the Wisconsin Badgers.
What's he going to do with $74 million?
I'm sure his wife's going to come up with some suggestions.
So some purses. Purses.
And some shoes.
Gucci's. Should get some Gucci's. Now,
I don't know if they sell those in Wisconsin.
So here's what we all want to know. You were clearly depressed at the Michigan game.
Yes.
We just had to give you a hug.
Yes.
Well, how about that? What happened at the Georgia game?
I sat there and just commiserated with my fellow comrades and watched the confetti fall on the winning team.
So then, you're in Atlanta. It's 2023 now.
Yes.
What'd you do?
Back to the hotel. See you later. Goodbye. Let's get out of this godforsaken town.
Went to bed.
Yes.
Went to bed. Oh,
Got up.
Well, that's it.
Forget the shower. We're going to wash up. We're going to brush our teeth. And we're driving home to Columbus, Ohio.
Now, what would you normally have been doing on New Year's?
Oh, man. We could have done all kinds of stuff, man. Everything. Countdown to the CNN building. But I was engulfed in this game.
And then it went left. Now, here's another interesting development in 2023. Now in Ohio, we have sports gambling.
Oh, man.
What do you make of that?
Tell you what, man. Don't know yet. It's too early to tell, and I'll tell you why. Because if somebody picks a quarterback, number one, they don't know if they're a bomb for at least 3 years. They don't know if they're a great player for at least 5. So the early things is it was the biggest betting line in the world, in the United States, here in Ohio the first week.
Now, do you think, here's the question I had.
Yep.
For Mr. Hall of Fame baseball,
yes.
Pete Rose,
who
wants to be in that Hall of Fame more than anything.
That's it.
80-something years old now.
I didn't know Pete was that old.
Oh, I think he's in his 80s, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Somebody Google that, quick. Is Pete in his 80s?
How old is Pete Rose?
Now, do you think that it was wise for this man, who before he heads off to his reward, he wants no more than anything to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, to be placing the first bet in Ohio? That's what's keeping him out of the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you right there. I think the lure of so much money, he couldn't turn it down. And ain't no telling what financial state Pete's in.
Well, yeah, but I think there are certain things that you probably should not do if you want to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I got that. I got all that. But if somebody's willing to give you $5 million.
81? Oh, good. See,
how many?
81 years
What?
old. Yes.
Pete Rose?
Pete Rose.
Jeez.
Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle. The big red machine.
He ain't got long left to get that Hall of Fame.
Or that kind of payday.
No, and I just think, when I saw that on New Year's Day, I
just didn't sit with
No, I said, Pete.
Pete.
You want to get in that Hall of Fame.
Charlie Hustle.
You don't place the bet.
He'd slide into first base,
Yeah,
y'all.
that man's got
He'd slide into first.
Well, yeah, he's got a gambling issue, and he should not be doing that.
Listen, let's not miss this. Maybe if you could wipe out some debt.
Oh, well. But do you think he's ever going to get in the Hall of Fame doing that kind of shenanigans?
Or I don't know if he's ever going to get back to even.
Well, we don't even know. Poor Pete. Here's the thing about Pete Rose, and I just want to say this. I'll be on the record. The man went to prison for taxation. He did his time.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Didn't he go to prison? Yeah, he went to prison.
Pete?
Yeah, Pete was in...
Charlie Hustle.
Yeah, Charlie Hustle.
Where'd they send him? Fed joint?
Yeah, I believe he was. I don't think he went here in Ohio, but I think he was in a prison.
Oh.
Didn't pay his taxes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, poor. I mean, this guy's had a rough...
I was too young.
Rough 30 years. But he was
He was a hero.
The poor man got banned from baseball for his gambling. Then he ended up in prison for his taxation problems.
Oh.
And now he can't, 40-something years later, he can't get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and he's still out there placing bets. Now, who dreamt that up? That, oh, let's go get Pete Rose to place the first bet in Hero. That's like bringing in, you know who I'm talking about. Oh, what's his name? The quarterback.
Art Schlichter.
Art Schlichter. Why would you do that? Can't do that. Bad.
They say gambling's an addiction.
Pete, don't do that.
Listen, it's $1.5 billion in the Ohio Lottery. They're pulling it tomorrow. There's a line in
Got your
every
ticket?
gas station.
Got your ticket?
Do not.
Oh,
Do not.
you get 1.5 billion. You could be Luke Fickle. That's right.
See what he did? See what he did?
In 5 minutes, you could be Luke Fickle.
He's quick with it, isn't he?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. I stood in line, and the guy says, "Do you want to play a ticket today?" And I says, "No, sir. I do not. I'll keep my $3." And I went on about my way.
And then Pete Rose came in and bought 7,500.
There it is.
Yeah, right there.
He had some money.
He was there.
Yeah, listen, as a kid, the Big Red Machine back in 77, 76, 75, 7, those guys were angels in my eyesight. My father, because my father and I would spend time watching the games. And a baseball game doesn't have a clock. It could go on forever.
Oh, forever.
You know, whatever extra innings or whatever. And Pete Rose would run and this, that, and the other. And so he
Oh, he's a great baseball player. And I know the first year he dies, he'll be on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. But he...
posthumously.
Oh, absolutely. But he can't keep this stuff up he's doing.
I understand.
He's not going to get it. By the way, we have Sean and Terry in here. Now, just by a show of hands, should Pete Rose have placed a bet? Should he have been the first guy if he wants to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Terry says no. Well, Sean says yes. He should have done that. So you think that's going to get him into the Baseball Hall of Fame? By placing bets?
Well, I think this is legal now. Yes.
Oh, no. He was banned for that.
Well, I think he should get. I think it should be like sponged from his record.
That ain't going to happen. What do you think, Buckeye guy? Final word on that.
Pete was my guy back in the 70s, man. And much like Anakin Skywalker, he's turning into Darth Vader.
Have you met Pete Rose?
Listen,
He's rolling around the stage.
that's funny you say that.
You've been in a casino. You saw him there.
No. Pete Rose was at an event in Columbus. There was a guy that played with him, and he died.
Oh,
A Cincinnati baseball player.
Joe Nuxall.
No. What, he went to Marion Franklin High School. No, he went to Marion Franklin High School in Columbus. And after his playing days were over, hit a rough patch. This, that, and the other. And he and Pete were good friends. Pete showed up at the funeral.
Oh, that's good.
Sit in the back, didn't say nothing. Of course, I didn't say anything to him. Respect his judgment, But Pete was there.
I don't have any bad feeling toward Pete Rose. I think he's a fine guy.
Sure.
I just think he's making some bad choices. I think his PR people need to get a hold of him and say, Pete.
You got to remember, he lives in Las Vegas. I mean, but listen.
He needs
What
to
happens
move.
in Vegas
He
City?
needs to move to Oregon.
Or Greenbow, Alabama.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Well, put him in Cincinnati.
That's funny. I had to say Greenbow, Alabama.
I liked it.
Because that's, our guy.
Who?
You know who?
I don't think I did.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Greenbow, Alabama.
I'm with you now. I'm sorry. I missed that. Yeah, there you
No,
go. Don't worry.
Listen, Pete's had a rough go of it. And he's capitalizing on his fame. And he signs autographs, to that and the other, da-da-da. And so he's worked out pretty good on that. And I think he may have been thumbing his nose at the establishment.
Well, he might have been, but don't. I don't want to hear him on television anymore complaining that he can't get in the Hall of Fame if he's thumbing his nose.
He understands. I believe his time has come and passed, and I believe he realizes that his time has come and passed.
Greatest player in Ohio State football history.
Archie Griffin,
Greatest coach.
Woody Hayes.
greatest game you've ever seen?
2006, Troy Smith was the quarterback against the school up north. It was 42-39. I sit on the 35-yard line. Thank you, John Hicks. I truly appreciate it. I wasn't supposed to tell nobody that, but I did.
There you go. Oh, John is a nice man.
He was a nice man, and I'm telling you, that guy, he was my big brother.
Pete Johnson.
What? Let me tell you something about Pete Johnson. Pete Johnson, man, I'm telling you, he gives me the all the old stories, and he always says, "It's from my lips to your ears, Buckeye guy. You can tell anybody these stories," and he'd always tell me about the Woody Hayes days, and that's kind of cool. He refers to him as the old man. That's Pete
Now,
Johnson.
when Woody Hayes hit Charlie Bauman,
Yeah.
what did you think?
Listen, I was a little kid. We were watching the game. The game wasn't going so well. It was Ohio State against Clemson. Okay?
What's his name, Charlie Bauman?
Don't know his name for certain. But the mistake that he made was first, intercepting the ball. Second, running in the general vicinity of Coach Woody Hayes. Now, Woody Hayes has been known to be a hard
Curmudgeon.
a hard knocks type of coach in his own right. So it didn't end up well. We lost the game. Coach lost his cool. And that was the last game that he coached.
Now, do you look at that as a yes, he got to dot the I after that.
Yeah?
And,
Oh, yeah, I remember.
yes, he got to give the commencement
Sure.
speech. But that's always there. In any documentary they do on Woody Hayes,
Sure.
anytime they mention it,
Sure.
they remember him hitting the player.
Yep.
So when you think about that, what do you think about?
It was a moment in time that didn't end up well for Coach. It was a moment in time. You can't judge him on his whole life on a moment in time.
No, but do you believe there are these moments when you have one of those moments because of the internet? Now
Yep.
you just can't ever.
Oh,
it's there.
Well, that's a whole different thing now. It wasn't, it was no internet back in, 78. I'll tell you what happened. The next day, the Columbus Dispatch came out and talked about Coach Hayes wouldn't be continuing on at this current position.
Well, when he got off the plane, he went home and they had fired him before he got off the plane.
Sure,
I mean, it was a terrible situation
rough.
for Coach Woody Hayes.
it was rough.
Now, what in your life in the media, what is your moment? Woody Hayes had the hitting of the player, and they all have that. Certainly, John Cooper losing to Michigan,
Yep.
Jim Tressel, the scandal with the tattoos and all that nonsense. What is your moment? Everybody has one.
Everybody's got a moment. Here it is. Everybody's got 15 minutes of fame. 15 minutes. I think it was Andy Warhol that may have said that. 15 minutes of fame is turned into a lifetime. And what you try to do, I'd like to think it's showing the world how much love that we can share. I think my moment is out of the Beatty Recreation Center, giving out toys that otherwise parents couldn't afford to give their kids. I think that's my moment.
Now, has there ever been a moment where you had a good intention and things didn't turn out exactly right?
All kinds of stuff like that. I mean, you get stuff all the time. I get it because it's so hard being a public figure. It is. And so it's preconceived notions. So that could happen any day, any time.
When somebody says something negative,
Yep.
how do you deal with it?
Because everybody has their own opinion, and everybody's got a cell phone, and everybody's an editor and a chief and a writer. You keep on down the street, my friend. That's probably your best course of action. And so I get that all the time. Shannon Sharp, Fox, he's got a show. He says when he walks out of his house, there's a possibility that he's being filmed at any given time.
And you have to be aware of that.
You better.
You have to be aware of that. You've got to be aware. You never want to do anything. That's happened to Pete Rose. happened to all these folks. There's always, because I don't think you can live a perfect life. Nobody's perfect. So there's going to be those moments where bad things, unfortunately happen. But
Sure.
what can you do?
Keep moving.
At a low time in your life, how do you get up?
Do the best you can and keep on out there, man, and keep going. Give you another. If you ever given another opportunity to get up in the morning, slip your pants on, your trousers. That's how you get up. You got another day to make it better.
Now, in the end, how would you like Buckeye Guy to be remembered?
Oh man, that guy there he gave it 100%, 110% of the time. Every time, every second. You may not have liked all his choices, all his avenues, but I'll tell you, he ended up being a pretty good pound cake after a while. 30 minutes on 350, preset your oven. Pound cake. I kind of like it.
There you go, not bad. How much? Do we got a minute left? What do we got?
196.
196. Okay, Buckeye Guy, little known talent here. You enjoy singing.
Yes.
Let's get a little music going into this episode.
Oh, I kind of like, you get up in the morning to the alarm clock's warning, take the 8:15 into the city. Say there's a whistle up above and people pushing, people shoving in, the girls are trying to look pretty. And if your train's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start the slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, you can be in self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day, and I've been taking care of business every day.
Beautiful. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite drink?
Used to be alcoholic, but not anymore. It's Diet Coke.
Really?
Yes.
Now, in those former days, what would have been?
Alcoholic.
Anything?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Bourbon.
No. It's the vodka and cran.
Now, did you have to lay off that?
No, it's done.
You gave it up.
It's over.
Now, how'd you do that? Quickly for the people who, people go through that.
Sometimes you can lay it down, sometimes you can't. I laid it down. See you later.
Well, that's all you got to do.
Done.
Now, you got to remember, we got big events coming up here
Yes.
in Marion. We've got Groundhog Day on February 2nd. We're going to tell you all about that. There's going to be stuff coming
Wow.
up there. Big events, and we're heading into springtime, which means Easter, which means St. Patrick's Day, which means Valentine. You ready for Valentine's Day?
Oh, man. Gee. I walked in my local Walmart. It's everywhere.
So every week you're going to have to stay tuned here for Buckeye Guy and myself, because we're going to be bringing you all kinds of stuff. We're going to have guests on this show. You're not going to want to miss any of these people. It's going to be big. Me and the Buckeye Guy. So for Buckeye Guy, this is Scott Spears for this week, heading for the dugout.
Signing off for now. Buckeye Guy out.